The act of creation is surrounded by a fog of myths. Myths that creativity comes via inspiration, that original creations break the mold, that they're the products of geniuses, and appear as quickly as electricity can heat a filament. But creativity isn't magic. It happens by applying ordinary tools of thought to existing materials, and the soil from which we grow our creations is something we scorn and misunderstand, even though it gives us so much, and that's copying.
So, as we were talking about, user-generated content.
So Nupedia, the prior project, we didn't really understand online communities very well. We wanted it to be high quality, so we thought we should just recruit experts to write the entries. It was a very top-down, very old-fashioned review process, 7 stages to get anything published. And it failed because it was too stressful and too difficult for volunteers to participate in. So we started over with Wikipedia, decided to take a full 180 and be as open as possible for as long as possible.
After we've grounded ourselves in the fundamentals through copying, it's then possible to create something new through transformation, taking an idea and creating variations. This is time-consuming tinkering, but it can eventually produce a breakthrough.
How do we express it? How do I change it?
This is expression.
Everybody's a creator. Everybody's a consumer. Look at what you're declaring is illegal. Really, where is the harm here?
Who can take sounds and images from the culture around us and use it to say things differently. These tools of creativity have become tools of speech. It is a literacy for this generation. This is how our kids speak. It is how our kids think. It is what your kids are.
These are the basic elements of creativity: copy, transform, and combine.
Very first copyright law. It gave authors control over who could make copies of their books or build on their work for a limited period of time. Later, a group of rebellious colonists thought that the Statute of Anne was a good idea, and so copy-pasted it into their own constitution, giving Congress the power to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors the exclusive right to their respective writings. Basically, copyright is a contract between authors and society. If you promise to make more stuff, we promise not to copy it or build on it for 28 years. Here's an example.
Intellectual property. This was a meme that would multiply wildly, thanks in part to a quirk of human psychology known as loss aversion. Movies are so massively expensive to make. Perhaps it's because graphic novels, TV shows, video games, books, and the like are such rich sources of material. Or perhaps it's because audiences just prefer the familiar. Whatever the reason, most box office hits rely heavily on existing material.
Companies like Disney. Remember all the old good Disney movies? Yeah, all of them came from works no longer under copyright protection at the time. The whole of the Disney empire and the childhood magic that it produces only exists because there was copyright-free work for Walt Disney, you know, the guy who actually started the whole company, to rework and update. But
Since hip-hop's first postnatal mulings, the genre has relied on the reuse of existing material to make something new. The first rap song to gain wide attention was Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang, which involved a bunch of guys dropping rhymes over Chic's Good Times. Ever since then, uncleared samples have been used by practically every artist you care to name.
Similar way, but the elements aren't genes, they're memes. Ideas, behaviors, skills. Memes are copied, transformed, and combined. And the dominant ideas of our time are the memes that spread the most. This is social evolution. Copy, transform, and combine. It's who we are, it's how we live, and of course, it's how we create. Jobs was sometimes boastful about Apple's history of copying.
We have, always been shameless about stealing great ideas.
But he harbored deep grudges against those who dared to copy Apple. I'm going to destroy Android because it's a stolen product. I'm willing to go thermonuclear war on this. The belief in intellectual property has grown so dominant, it's pushed the original intent of copyrights and patents out of the public consciousness. But that original purpose is still right there in plain sight. The Copyright Act of 1790 is entitled An Act for the Encouragement of Learning. The Patent Act is to promote the progress of useful arts.
the exclusive ones. We need the best ideas possible, we need them now, we need them to spread fast. The common good is a meme that was overwhelmed by intellectual property. It needs to spread again. If the meme prospers, our laws, our norms, our society, they all transform.